We're going to kick off with the front page of The Guardian. Leo, what are they going with?
So their big story is up to 500,000 public sector people are going to strike across the UK as ministers are accused of stonewalling them. That's not when you try and convince their child to transition. That's they're trying to stymie any talks with the people going on strike. And this is because they don't want to give them more money. That sounds obvious, but they don't want to give them more money because that'll create... We've got so many public sector workers in the UK. If we pay them all more, we'll create a wage price spiral and we'll end up like Weimar Germany, and we know how that ended. OK, well, it's not like you to catastrophise like that, but Steve, they do deserve more money, don't they? It is a cost of living crisis and they're not particularly well paid, a lot of these people.
And they've had many years of not receiving pay rises that keep up with inflation. So depends how long you go back, whether it be 5 or 10 years, you can make the argument that they've had a pay cut. Effectively.
Yes, you have.
However, I mean, all you need to do with the strike is get in the newspapers. You don't actually have to ruin people's days. Maybe I'm just being a bit petty because I can't use the train tomorrow, but it would be possible. If the teachers went on strike on a holiday day, it would be all over the newspapers. You would gain just the same coverage. You'd gain the support of people.
Yeah.
And then we'd all be sitting here going, I can't believe this government aren't sitting down at the table and doing something. Yeah. It feels like some newspapers, and they all have their own reason, have low-hanging fruit arguments. Just like, what's the one that we saw about how it's attacking our children again? Of course, these newspapers are going to make that.
What's wrong with low-hanging fruit? That's the best fruit. You can reach it. And I say that as somebody 6'6".
You get the good fruit up there.
I can get all the fruit.
It's part of the point, surely, to be disruptive, so that we put pressure on the government.
Yeah, and I think it's to show people that, hey, actually, you need us, so you better pay us. Right. But do we need them? I mean, some of the people are going on strike. The UK Space Agency, so, oh no, I'm not going to be able to go to Mars tomorrow. The Land Registry are going on strike. Oh, who's going to register the land? You know, these are people that, you know, do we even need them in the first place? Physiotherapists are going on strike, you know, so I'm going to have to wait till Thursday to get my daughter. I mean, you're going to have to wait for 3 years on the NHS to get seen by a physio anyway.
OK, so let's stick with the front cover of The Guardian, because there's a number of interesting stories on this paper. And what's this about police chiefs and Hillsborough? So
police chiefs have apologised about Hillsborough. I think this is the first time they've properly apologised for the failures, and obviously not just failures on the day, but then lies that were sort of promulgated through the press about it being the fans' fault, basically. So it's nice to see an apology, but there's not much.
Overdue, because I mean we've known about the failures for a long time now, haven't we?
Yeah.
So it's taken quite a while for them to get around to actually making that clear. Yeah,
it's been... Well, how long has it been? Like 40 years or something? 35 years?
Yeah.
It's crazy. But yeah, nothing really funny you can say about it.
No, I wasn't asking for jokes. It's merely... Sometimes we do just talk about the news. Right. Steve, do you have any thoughts about this one?
No, other than to agree. I mean, not only did it take ages for an inquiry to happen, that was a crime in itself, but then we had the inquiry that took a long while, results came out, and then today we get the news about an apology. And then Suella Braverman said, oh, can't comment yet because we still don't have things sorted. Hopefully at some point there'll be an apology there as well. But all of it won't be done in time. All of it will be massively overdue because, as you say, this happened when we were kids and now it's just in the front pages when we're old dads.
Yeah, and kicking it down the road doesn't make people forget about it. It makes them angrier. Right. So it's pointless.
And just one more story from The Guardian, because it's the main picture on the front cover of The Guardian, which is this long deceased bird.
Yeah. So, they're going to bring the dodo back to life.
This is Jurassic Park.
Dodo-assic Park. Yeah. So they're going to make a massive dodo that's going to eat somebody who's sitting on a toilet in a little cubicle.
Well, I don't think dodos were that big. I mean, I saw a life-size one in the Natural History Museum, and they're like...
Turkey.
Plump chickens, aren't they?
Yeah, like a turkey. I think, and apparently they're good eating.
And they're related to the pigeon as well.
Yes. Which
really lowers their status, doesn't it? Oh, I read that and I'm like, oh, let's not bother bringing these back.
That's how they're recreating, isn't it? Because the genome, the DNA is quite similar to the pigeon.
Yeah. But the pigeon doesn't look anything like a dodo. So what's this thing going to look like? I don't know. I think the extinct bird they should bring back to life is Barbara Windsor. I'd like to see that.
Steve, do you have any thoughts on the dodo? I mean, I do. You know, I worry about scientists playing God, always. But I feel that about antibiotics and everything, really. But what about this? What about this creature? Would you like to see them roaming the streets?
Well, I've made it to this age without there being dodos around, so I'm absolutely fine with it. So I don't think we gain much. I don't think we were... The one thing holding us back is that we'd lost the dodo.
Yeah, but the dodo gains quite a lot.
Well, no, because it's some weird hybrid-y pigeon dodo thing. I know what you said. You went to the museum, you saw a life-size one. We don't really know, but especially
well, you can work out from the bones. I mean, it's not going to be 20 times bigger than its bones.
I think there are preserved dodos, aren't there? I mean,
yeah.
They died off in the 17th century. I think some people got hold of them before they died.
You mix in some CRISPR gene stuff, the next thing you know, it'll be strange if we find out that they actually are feral beasts that kill on sight. And then who looks like an idiot?
And that's why, maybe that's why we killed them out in the first place. Yeah, maybe it's a close-run thing between humanity and dodos.
They're really dangerous.
Yeah.
Well, it's possible. You know, we're going to start mixing up the DNA of various creatures. That's what they did in Jurassic Park. They used frogs, and that's how they managed to reproduce without when they're all girls.
And that's mixing DNA. That's what happens on Club 18 to 30 holidays as well.
It does. But we're not going to talk about that.